Story disclaimer. This story is a work of fiction and is intended for entertainment purposes only. The content includes dark themes, horror elements, and fictional depictions of rituals and sacrifices that are purely imaginative and not reflective of any real-life practices or beliefs. Viewer discretion is advised. This video is not suitable for younger audiences, and parental guidance is recommended. The story does not endorse or promote any harmful behavior, violence, or dangerous activities. Please note that all characters, events, and settings are entirely fictional and created for the purpose of storytelling. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events, is purely coincidental. In a city on the brink of collapse, a young warrior named Kofi finds himself wielding a powerful flame, one that trembles the ground beneath him and bends shadows to his will. But as he stands victorious, casting out the darkness, an ominous new figure emerges, larger, more sinister, claiming to be the true master of the flame. The people of Kisa watch in fear, as the very force they trusted for protection now seeks their ruin. Can Kofi, with the memories of love, hope, and unity, rise against this dark lord? Or will he be consumed by the very power he's unleashed? As Kofi's words echoed through the air, the blue flames erupted in a dazzling display of light. The shadows around him shuddered, momentarily losing their grip as the vibrant energy surged forth. The city trembled beneath him, then Kofi felt the power coursing through his veins, stronger than ever. The cloaked figure staggered back, its form flickering and twisting in the light. "No. You cannot control it," it screamed, rage filling its voice. The darkness recoiled, but Kofi pressed forward, channeling the memories of his city, of love, hope, and unity. With each step, he could feel the energy building within him. The flames danced and whirled, responding to his will, transforming from destructive fire into a radiant light. The shadows shrieked in protest, but Kofi held firm, focusing on the symbols etched in his mind. "I command you," Kofi declared, raising his hands high. "You will no longer be a force of chaos. You will be a protector of Kisa." Suddenly, the blue flames erupted into a brilliant burst of light, illuminating the entire city. The shadows twisted and shrunk, losing their form and substance as they were engulfed by the radiant fire. The figure's screams faded into the night, and for a moment, silence enveloped Kisa. But Kofi knew the battle wasn't over. The flame flickered, still restless, yearning for control. He could feel its power surging within him, trying to break free. Then he understood that this was only the beginning. The city around him was changing, crumbling buildings were beginning to rise again, glowing with a soft light. People emerged from the mist, their eyes clear and bright, no longer consumed by the flame's madness. They looked to Kofi, hope igniting in their hearts as they recognized him as their savior. But just as he began to feel a sense of triumph, a deep rumble echoed from the ground beneath him. Kofi turned to see a new wave of mist gathering at the horizon, dark and thick, moving with a life of its own. "No," Kofi whispered, his heart sinking. "Not again." The mist swirled violently, then from its depths emerged a new figure, one that radiated a menacing aura. It was larger, more powerful than before, and its eyes glowed with an unholy fire. The air crackled with energy as it advanced, and Kofi realized that the battle was far from over. The new figure stepped forward, its form obscured by swirling shadows, but Kofi could feel its power pulsating in the air. This was not just another agent of the flame, it was something far more sinister. The ground shook beneath Kofi's feet, and the atmosphere grew thick with dread. The people of Kisa, now free from the previous grip of the flame, began to murmur in fear as they witnessed the emergence of this new entity. Kofi turned to them, raising his hands to calm their rising panic. "Stay back," he commanded. "I'll handle this." The dark figure laughed, a low, chilling sound that echoed across the ruins of the city. "You think you can face me alone, boy? You've merely scratched the surface of the flame's power. I am its true master." Kofi clenched his fists, feeling the warmth of the blue flame still coursing through him. He was not just a boy anymore, he was a vessel of energy, the protector of Kisa. But doubt crept in again. What if this new threat was beyond his control? "Face me, Kofi," the Dark Lord demanded, stepping closer, its presence suffocating. "You will witness the true nature of the flame. It craves destruction. It craves chaos." In that moment, Kofi remembered the words of the ancient texts he had discovered, the balance of light and dark. He knew that to defeat this entity, he would have to embrace both sides. It was a terrifying thought, but he had no choice. "Then let's show the flame what we can do," Kofi shouted, channeling all his energy into a focused beam of blue fire. The air crackled as he unleashed it, sending a torrent of light toward the Dark Lord. The figure raised its hand, summoning shadows to absorb the attack. But Kofi didn't stop. He pushed harder, the flame growing brighter and more intense, swirling around him as he summoned the memories of love and hope once more. The Dark Lord faltered, its shadows wavering under the strength of Kofi's resolve. "You think this will stop me? You are a fool," it roared, launching a wave of darkness toward Kofi. In that critical moment, Kofi realized he could not fight darkness with darkness. He needed to embody the light. He closed his eyes, visualizing the people of Kisa, each face full of hope and courage. He could feel their energy flowing through him, empowering his every move. "I won't let you destroy them," Kofi yelled, unleashing a brilliant wave of light that surged forward, colliding with the darkness. The two forces met with a blinding explosion, lighting up the entire city. Kofi felt the shockwave knock him back, but he held on to his focus, calling forth the strength of the flame within him. The ground rumbled as the battle between light and dark raged on, both forces pushing against each other. The energy pulsed and crackled as Kofi poured everything he had into the battle. The clash of light and dark illuminated the sky, casting long shadows over the city. Kisa itself seemed to tremble, caught in the balance of this fierce struggle. "Is this all you've got?" the Dark Lord taunted, its voice dripping with contempt. "You think love can conquer me?" Kofi gritted his teeth, sweat pouring down his brow as he pushed against the overwhelming darkness. "It's not just love, it's hope. It's everything this city stands for." With every word, he felt the energy swell within him, the connection to Kisa deepening. The dark figure began to falter, the shadows surrounding it flickering. Kofi could see uncertainty in its glowing eyes. "You're strong, but you cannot defeat me. The flame will always belong to darkness." In that moment, Kofi remembered the map. The symbols it held were not just markers, they were keys to unity. "I won't fight you alone," he declared. "Kisa will stand with me." Kofi turned to the people gathered behind him. "You all felt the flame's power. You all have the strength within you. Join me. Together, we can channel the flame into something greater." A flicker of hope ignited in their eyes as they raised their hands in solidarity. One by one, they stepped forward, forming a circle around Kofi, their energy intertwining with his. The blue flames began to shift, growing brighter as they felt the collective power of their unity. The Dark Lord roared, a sound that shook the very foundations of Kisa. "No. You cannot unite against me." But its cries fell on deaf ears. As the people of Kisa channeled their love and hope, the flames transformed from a chaotic inferno into a harmonious blaze of vibrant colors. The air filled with warmth and light, overwhelming the darkness. Kofi felt the surge of energy flowing through him and the others. Together, he shouted, and the flames exploded outward, engulfing the Dark Lord in a brilliant flash of light. For a brief moment, Kofi thought he saw fear in the dark figure's eyes as the light enveloped it completely. Then, with a final, deafening roar, the shadows disintegrated, leaving only a brilliant burst of blue light. The city was silent as the dust settled, and Kofi fell to his knees, exhausted but triumphant. The people of Kisa erupted into cheers, their voices echoing through the once ruined streets. But Kofi knew this wasn't the end. The flame had been transformed, yes, but its power was still there, waiting to be harnessed. He looked around at the faces of his friends, his family, and the people he had fought to protect. "We will rebuild," he said, his voice steady despite his fatigue. "We will ensure that the flame serves us, not the other way around." As the sun began to rise over Kisa, the blue flames flickered above, no longer a source of fear but a beacon of hope. Kofi smiled, knowing that together, they could forge a new future, one where light triumphed over darkness, and love reigned supreme. Days turned into weeks as Kisa began to heal. The ruins of the city, once a stark reminder of darkness, slowly transformed into a vibrant testament of resilience and unity. The blue flames that once terrorized the streets now danced joyfully above, illuminating the skies with hues of gold and azure. Kofi stood atop a hill overlooking the city, watching as the people worked together, rebuilding their homes and lives. The once empty streets were alive again, filled with laughter and conversation, hope rekindled in every corner. "Look at them," the girl said, her voice softer now, stripped of the malice that had once consumed her. She stood beside Kofi, her eyes reflecting the brilliance of the flame. "You've changed everything." "It wasn't just me," Kofi replied, turning to her. "It was all of us. Together, we transformed the flame." The girl nodded, her expression contemplative. "I was lost in the shadows. I didn't see the truth until you showed me." Kofi smiled, realizing that she, too, had the potential to choose her path. "You can find your light again. We can all embrace the fire within us without being consumed by it." As they watched the sun dip below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the city, Kofi felt a surge of gratitude. He had faced the darkness, felt its pull, and emerged stronger, not just for himself but for everyone around him. The ancient symbols from the map now adorned the walls of the newly rebuilt structures, serving as reminders of their journey. Kisa was not just a city, it was a legacy of hope, a testament to what could be achieved when love triumphed over fear. But in the back of his mind, Kofi knew the battle wasn't truly over. The flame, though transformed, still held power that could be used for good or ill. He would remain vigilant, guiding the city as its protector, ensuring that the light of Kisa never dimmed again. "I won't let it happen," Kofi vowed, looking out at the flickering flames. "As long as I'm here, I will defend our home." The girl smiled, a newfound light in her eyes. "And I will stand with you." Together, they turned back toward the city, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. The dawn of a new era had begun, and Kisa was finally free to write its own story, a story of light, love, and the enduring power of the flame. As Kofi and the girl watched the city of Kisa thrive, a shadow passed over the sun, momentarily darkening their surroundings. The cheerful laughter and vibrant colors of the streets were suddenly muted, replaced by an unsettling chill that swept through the air. "What was that?" the girl asked, her voice tinged with anxiety. Kofi squinted at the horizon. "I don't know, but something feels off." Just then, a thunderous roar erupted from the depths of the city, shaking the ground beneath them. Kofi's heart raced as he turned to face the sound. From the shadows emerged a figure cloaked in darkness, a being that seemed to absorb the very light around it. "No," Kofi whispered, recognizing the figure as a remnant of the darkness they had fought against. "You." The figure laughed, a deep, resonant sound that echoed like thunder. "You thought you could defeat me? I am not just a shadow, I am the catalyst of chaos." Kofi felt a wave of dread wash over him as the figure raised its hands, summoning a storm of shadows that engulfed the city. The blue flames flickered violently, struggling against the encroaching darkness. "Prepare for the reckoning," the figure bellowed, unleashing a torrent of shadowy tendrils that snaked through the streets, snatching up buildings and people alike. Kofi dashed forward, his heart pounding in his chest. "We have to help them," he shouted to the girl. Wait, she called, her eyes wide. There's something you need to know. But before she could finish, Kofi plunged into the chaos, channeling the energy of the blue flame to fend off the shadows. He could see people trapped in the tendrils, their faces twisted in fear. As he fought, Kofi felt a surge of power coursing through him. The memories of his city, its joy, its struggles, empowered him, fueling his determination. He struck the darkness with bursts of light, freeing those ensnared. But as he fought, the figure laughed, taunting him. You're just a child playing with fire. The flame will never be yours to control. In that moment, Kofi felt a jolt of fear. The darkness began to whisper in his mind, planting seeds of doubt. What if he wasn't strong enough? What if the flame consumed him after all? No, he shouted, shaking his head to clear the thoughts. I am Kofi of Kisa. I won't back down. He focused, channeling every ounce of strength into a massive wave of blue fire that surged through the streets. The shadows recoiled, but the figure remained unfazed, a malicious grin spreading across its face. You think this is over? You have merely awakened a greater force. The dark figure stepped back, and in a flash, it began to transform. The shadows coalesced, twisting and writhing until a massive creature emerged, an embodiment of pure darkness, with fiery red eyes that glowed like embers. Kofi felt the ground tremble beneath him as the creature roared, shaking the very foundations of Kisa. I am the true flame, it bellowed, its voice echoing like thunder. I will consume this city and all who stand in my way. Kofi's heart raced, but he couldn't allow fear to take hold. Everyone, stay back, he commanded the crowd, stepping forward to face the monstrosity. He reached deep within himself, drawing on the power of the blue flame, willing it to respond to his call. Together, we can do this. Kofi shouted, looking back at the girl. We need everyone's strength. But as he turned, he noticed her expression had changed. She stood frozen, eyes wide with horror, her mouth slightly agape. Kofi, there's something I haven't told you, she stammered. What? He demanded, urgency lacing his tone. I am the dark figure's sister, she revealed, tears brimming in her eyes. I was trapped in the flame's power, and it is only now that I am free. But I fear that my bloodline is tied to this darkness. Kofi's breath caught in his throat. No, you can't be serious. I'm so sorry, she whispered, anguish etched across her face. If I don't confront this, it will only grow stronger. Without warning, she stepped toward the dark creature, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. I will face my fate, she declared, her voice resolute. Kofi, listen, she shouted. You must channel your flame into me. It's the only way to save the city. Wait. Kofi called out, desperate to stop her. But she had already plunged into the darkness, merging her essence with the creature. The air crackled as a shockwave rippled through the city. Kofi staggered back, the ground shaking violently. The dark creature began to writhe, its form twisting and convulsing as the girl's energy surged through it. No. What are you doing? Kofi yelled, panic gripping him. Trust me, she screamed, her voice layered with strength and anguish. I can contain it. Just focus the flame. Kofi's heart raced as he felt her connection to the darkness grow stronger. He closed his eyes, focusing on the blue flames within him. He could feel her essence intermingling with his own, and in that moment, he realized the truth: love could indeed conquer darkness, but at a price. With every ounce of willpower, he poured the blue flame into her, feeling the energy surge between them. The creature howled as the shadows began to unravel, the light pushing back against the encroaching dark. Keep going, Kofi, she cried, her voice echoing with determination. You have the power. As Kofi unleashed the energy, the ground trembled, and the dark creature began to fracture, light bursting through the cracks. The city around them lit up, shimmering with hope as the shadows recoiled in fear. But just when victory seemed within reach, a surge of darkness erupted from the creature, blasting Kofi back. He felt a searing pain as he landed hard on the ground, gasping for breath. "Eno," he shouted, scrambling to his feet. The girl was caught in the explosion, her form flickering as she struggled against the dark force. With a final push, Kofi summoned every ounce of energy within him. "I won't let you take her," he yelled, unleashing a brilliant beam of blue fire that struck the dark creature dead center. The explosion lit up the entire city, a blinding flash of blue and gold that drowned out the shadows. Kofi felt the warmth of the flames surrounding him, a protective embrace, as the darkness began to dissolve. But as the light faded, Kofi's heart sank. The girl was gone, absorbed by the dark force she had tried to contain. "No. No," he cried, falling to his knees. As the last remnants of darkness dissipated into the air, Kofi felt a profound silence enveloping Kisa. The city lay still, the vibrant blue flames flickering weakly, reflecting the weight of his loss. He looked around, searching for any sign of the girl, but there was nothing. The people of Kisa stood in stunned silence, their expressions mirroring Kofi's heartbreak. He had fought to protect them, but at what cost? "Where is she?" he whispered, his voice cracking. "Where is the girl?" A flicker of blue light caught his attention, and he turned to see a small, glowing orb hovering in the air where the creature had fallen. It pulsed gently, and a familiar voice echoed softly from within. "Kofi." "I'm still here," the girl's voice resonated, warm and soothing. "I didn't just disappear. I'm part of the flame now, part of the very essence that protects Kisa." Kofi's heart raced as hope ignited within him. "What do you mean?" he asked, trembling with emotion. "You've awakened something within me. The darkness may have been powerful, but together, we transformed it. I can guide the flame, but you must continue to lead." Tears streamed down Kofi's face as he knelt, the weight of grief mingling with newfound purpose. "I will carry your spirit with me. I will protect Kisa, for you and everyone we lost." The orb glowed brighter, filling the air with warmth and light. "You have the strength to harness this power, Kofi. But remember, the flame is both a gift and a burden. Use it wisely." Kofi nodded, determination filling his heart. He stood, looking out at the city that had risen from the ashes of despair. "I won't let you down. I promise." As the sun began to rise, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Kofi felt the energy of Kisa pulsating around him. The blue flames flickered back to life, burning brighter than ever before, a testament to their victory over darkness. But in the depths of his heart, Kofi knew that the battle against darkness was far from over. The shadows could return, and he had to be ready. Days turned into weeks as Kisa rebuilt itself, the blue flames illuminating the path toward a hopeful future. But as Kofi resumed his role as protector, whispers of a dark prophecy began to echo through the streets. "I heard the ancient texts spoke of a time when darkness would rise again," a villager whispered to another. "They say a child born of flame will either save us or destroy us." Kofi's heart sank at the rumors. What if the darkness returned? What if he was the cause of it all? The shadows of doubt loomed large over him, and he began to isolate himself, training relentlessly to prepare for the inevitable return of evil. One evening, as Kofi practiced his flame manipulation under the stars, a familiar figure appeared. It was the girl, her ethereal form glowing softly. "Kofi, you can't keep pushing yourself like this," she urged. "I have to be ready," he replied, his voice heavy with burden. "If darkness returns, I need to be strong enough to fight it." "But strength alone won't save you," she warned. "You must also find balance. Embrace your vulnerabilities. The more you isolate yourself, the more you risk falling back into despair." Kofi felt the weight of her words. What if I'm not strong enough? What if I fail? Failure is part of the journey, she said, her voice filled with compassion. But you're not alone in this fight. You have the people of Kisa, and you have me. I'll always be with you. Just as she finished speaking, a loud crack echoed from the distance. Kofi turned, eyes wide with fear, as a rift in the sky opened up, spilling forth tendrils of darkness that snaked toward Kisa. It's happening, he shouted. We have to warn everyone. But before they could move, a figure emerged from the rift, an ominous silhouette cloaked in shadows. Kofi felt the temperature drop, the air thickening with dread. Foolish child, the figure hissed, its voice dripping with malice. You thought you could escape your destiny. I am the harbinger of chaos, and I will unleash the darkness upon this world. Kofi's heart raced as he stepped forward, summoning the blue flames. I won't let you take Kisa. We will fight. The figure laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the streets. Fight. You have no idea what you're up against. With that, the shadows lunged at Kofi, swirling around him in a tempest of darkness. He felt the weight of despair pressing down, but just as he was about to falter, he remembered the girl's words. I won't give in. Kofi shouted, channeling every ounce of love and hope into the blue flames. The flames surged forth, colliding with the darkness, illuminating the night with a blinding light. But the darkness was relentless, pushing back against the flame, the two forces locked in an epic struggle. Kofi could feel the power of Kisa rallying behind him, but it wouldn't be enough. He needed something more. With a surge of determination, Kofi called upon the memories of his ancestors, their struggles, their triumphs, their sacrifices. As their energy intertwined with his, he felt the flames grow stronger, brighter, until they blazed like a star. Together, he yelled, unleashing the combined force of love and light against the darkness. The clash created a shockwave that shook the very foundations of Kisa, sending ripples of energy through the city. But as the flames roared, Kofi realized the dark figure was not merely a foe, it was a manifestation of the fears he had harbored deep within himself. The realization hit him like a wave. You are my doubt. Kofi shouted, eyes narrowing. You are not invincible. With newfound clarity, he focused all his energy into one final burst, pushing the darkness back until it shattered like glass, leaving only shimmering fragments behind. As the remnants of darkness dissipated into the night sky, Kofi felt a wave of exhaustion wash over him. He stood amidst the ruins of the battle, the flickering blue flames casting an eerie glow on the faces of the townsfolk who had gathered. They looked at him with a mixture of awe and fear, unsure of what they had just witnessed. What just happened? A villager whispered, his voice trembling. Did we really defeat it? Kofi's heart raced, but he could not shake the feeling that something more sinister lurked just beneath the surface. I don't know, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. But I can't shake the feeling that this isn't over. Suddenly, the sky darkened again, an unnatural shadow sweeping over the city. The blue flames flickered, as if struggling to stay alive against an unseen force. Panic rippled through the crowd. Everyone, get to safety. Kofi commanded, his voice firm. He turned to the girl's spirit, who hovered nearby, her light dimming. What's happening? I can feel it too, she replied, her voice filled with urgency. The darkness is not gone, it has merely retreated, waiting for the right moment to strike. As if on cue, a chilling laugh echoed through the air, sending shivers down Kofi's spine. Foolish boy, the voice taunted, reverberating from every corner of Kisa. You think you have won? You have merely awakened the true darkness. The crowd gasped as the shadow coalesced once more, taking on a monstrous form, an abomination with countless eyes, each one filled with malice. It towered over Kofi, and he felt the weight of its presence pressing down on him. Face your fears, child of flame, it roared, its voice like thunder. I am the embodiment of every doubt you've ever had. I will consume you. Kofi stood his ground, heart pounding. "I won't let you," he shouted, raising his arms to summon the blue flames. But as he did, the creature lunged, dark tendrils reaching out to ensnare him. The shadows wrapped around him, squeezing tightly, pulling him into a void of despair. Kofi gasped for breath, fighting against the suffocating darkness. Memories flooded his mind, every moment of doubt, every fear he had ever faced, amplified by the creature's presence. "See how weak you are," the creature taunted. "You're just a child playing with fire. You cannot escape your destiny." Kofi felt the weight of despair crushing him, but deep within, a flicker of defiance ignited. "No. I am more than my fears," he yelled, channeling every ounce of strength into his voice. "I am the light of Kisa. I will rise again." With a surge of determination, Kofi summoned the blue flames, channeling the energy of everyone who believed in him, the villagers, the girl, and the ancestors whose spirits guided him. The flames erupted from within, bursting forth with blinding brilliance. The darkness recoiled, the creature's form flickering as it struggled against the intensity of Kofi's flames. "No. You cannot defeat me," it shrieked, its many eyes wide with fear. Kofi pushed forward, driving the flames into the heart of the darkness. "I will not be consumed. I choose to stand for hope, for light, for love," he declared, and with a final, mighty roar, he unleashed the flames in a cataclysmic explosion. Does Kofi get consumed after he unleashed the flames in a cataclysmic explosion? Join us on the next epic episode to find out.